You're from the Philippines?
Yes.
Isn't it quite late out there?
Yeah, I'm actually trying to study, but then I ended up using this website.
It's good. It's good. I mean, generally, I don't know how people can study at night. I mean, for me, whenever these days I don't study, but when I used to, I mean, studying at night has been a very struggling experience for me. I mean, I can never study at night, never ever in my entire student life. I don't know how people can do that, but I have been very lazy about, very bad about it actually.
Hmm.
But what are you studying, if I may ask, like in terms of your major?
Wait, so how old do you think I am?
23, 22?
What? What? Someone just said that I look 10 years old.
Okay, I mean, no, you don't look 10 years old, but probably, if I'm not wrong, could be 19 or 20. Not
Yeah, I'm actually 20 and I'm taking education for
sweet.
secondary level.
Secondary level, right? Good, good. That's really good. And how long have you been here on episode?
Oh, I actually used this for 2 months and then stopped, and then
Right.
this is my first time using it for few months now.
After a few months now. Okay. And is it like how many conversations you had before speaking to me?
3.
Three. How were they? How were they?
Oh, I got to talk to Chinese people, and well, I had this kind of stereotype before about them that they have bad attitude, but actually they were very nice. And what's interesting about it,
What kind of a
like,
stereotype you had for about them?
huh?
What kind of a stereotype you had about them?
Like they have some superiority complex like that.
All right, all right. No, I mean you would find good people out here, you know.
Yeah, and what's interesting about it because we had a discussion about Chinese literature, and
All
I got
right.
to talk about with Chinese students. That's
Yes.
all.
In fact, I had multiple conversations with Chinese. I had a conversation with one of the guy who was very old, like in terms of age. He was almost in his 60s. Very educated man with very humble, nature in terms of speaking, and I got to learn a lot of things from him, and very energetic on the same time. Very energetic,
Mm.
like compared to people of his age. So that was very surprising, and I actually felt like, will I be that energetic and that, you know kind of life, full of life when I reached to his age, was my question to myself. But yeah, it's good actually.
Yeah, you can.
I mean, let's see when I actually, become 60, get onto my 60s. And anyways, let's, drive the focus onto you and get to know more about you as a person. So if I may ask you, like, are you more of a person? So, I mean, how do I even ask? What do you expect out of a conversation? Like a general
What
expectation that you expect out of a conversation.
with you
No, with
or
with any conversation, or if there is any personal expectations, like a specific expectation from me, then you can let me know as well.
I actually don't have expectations about talking about what would happen when I talk to people because I don't talk to people in
Much,
like in real life. Like I always avoid people, but um, to think about that, maybe like to have a
right,
deep conversation. Like we just, I mean, it's okay to talk about nonsense topics,
right. And if I have to say,
but
like, yes, yes, go ahead, please finish it.
yeah, but I like it when we talk about things like literature or what interests us,
Uh-huh.
something like that.
So
I don't
let
know.
let what are your like normal interesting topics when you are like around with your friends, like in real life? I mean, I'm sure you must have at least one or two good friends of yours, right? So what are your favorite topics that you like to discuss with them? Is it like anime or like some or the other things, or like bitching about other people? Could be that also a thing.
Oh, well, when it comes to friends, because my friends is also introvert, so we just talk about what comes in our mind, but not really every time. But what is interesting is that I have, since I am an English major,
Uh huh.
so we get to talk about literature. So it makes me so excited when like the literature is something that I know already. So yeah, we get to talk about lessons we have learned from books like that.
Right. So do you like read novels or like write poems and everything? Like, do you have a writing hobby or a journalizing things of your life in a diary or something? Do you have such kind of hobbies of writing?
I'm writing. I used to write like last semester,
Okay.
but right now I
Too
just
busy with
write
life.
for school purposes.
All right. All right. And so I mean, I always wanted to write everything about my life, and I'm a kind of a person. So let's say if I have met you today, and if you meet me in the next 6 months or like even the next 6 years, I would know things about you or the conversation that we had with each other. Okay, I have such kind of a memory. Unfortunately, I would
Ooh.
say, and I always wanted to journalize everything or with every person that I have interacted in my day. But I always had this fear that someday somebody would get my diary, around, and then he or she would read everything, and then it would be very embarrassing. But like if I have to come in the reality, apart from 5 or 6 pages, nobody's gonna actually care about reading the whole diary of my life. Okay, so I think sometimes I feel like I should have got started with it, because nobody has got the so much of time to read my diaries. You see, probably 5 6 pages, and then they would end up getting bored. But because of this fear, I never actually started journalizing things, and I've kept everything into my mind. Because actually what happened was that because I've got such a memory that I remember things. Now remembering things also contains bad things about bad experiences that happens in life, right? With people, with situations. I also have those things in my mind. When you write it down, you actually empty that thing out of your brain, is what I have felt. And it is not in your mind, not like in your mind, and you won't suffer out of that situation, out of that experiences. Generalizing is a good thing actually.
Well, that's quite interesting.
Yes, it is, because I'll
Okay.
tell you the experience very quickly. Is I was actually on a podcast with I am an English teacher by profession, and my one of my friend is a kind of a YouTuber. She also teaches English, and I was invited to her podcast, and I actually was preparing. So I had all these thoughts of what I'm going to speak on that podcast. It will be like an hour long. So I had all these thoughts of each and every questions, point by point. And because I made sure that I do not forget of each of these points, what I did, that was the very first time in my life I had ever start like did a kind of a journalizing or prepare those notes and everything. Otherwise, generally, if I have to speak with somebody as a presentation or a meeting, I rely on my brain itself. I know that my brain can carry all the things. But because I was very excited and I did not wanted to ruin the whole podcast, so I have written each and every dialogue of mine in that diary, that at this point of time this is what I'm going to reply, after what this is what if she says out of my question. And I did that for like 8 9 pages. I prepared a 8 9 pages of script. Now what happened is that when I read that, and when I'm trying to live up that situation, that tomorrow I'm going to go on to that podcast and this is what I'm going to speak, I forgot all my dialogues, everything that I actually thought of. Because I have written it down on the diary, it came out of my mind and I'm not able to
Mm,
remember that. And what happens next?
yeah.
The next day when I go on to that podcast, I have this diary opens up and I'm scrolling down the pages of what answers did I actually prepared. So I'm not able to come up with those answers that I actually prepared within my mind because I've written it down and I'm scrolling down the pages to find the answers. And that is how we actually did the podcast. So this is where the
So
thing is.
so you don't write anymore.
No, I would. That was very terrible experience. I would never write anything on diary ever again. I would always rely on my mind. Is what I've made sure. But yeah,
It's kind of like I'm
it
feeling
is.
enviousness. Like I always forgot like the things that I've said after minutes. I mean like this day I forgot what I did like that.
No, I would remember. I would remember things. I would remember things, even a decade ago, if that was kind of a very certain thing. And in fact, I was just about to, and in fact, many times, like this is an exercise. I never did it personally, I will say, but it works some or the other way. So, whenever you came across with a certain experience in your life, or you have a certain grief, that heaviness for some situation, for a certain relationship or an experience that you had in your life, and you're trying to forget it, you're trying to release that negative energy, so you write those whole situation that you are feeling about that
Oh,
situation and everything. And after writing it, you say that to yourself that after writing this today, I am completely, relieving this energy from my heart, from my brain, from my, body. And then you burn that paper. Actually, you burn
oh,
that paper,
burning it.
and it is an exercise. Actually, the life coaches, or like, these psychiatrist peoples, they do recommend these kind of exercises.
Oh, I think I would do that this month.
You can give it a try. Actually, talking to you, I would also do it. Actually, I've been thinking of it, so I might also do that. But I don't know what I am actually regretful about, because these days I'm kind of happy, so I don't I'm not into any kind of regression these days.
Yeah, what are you like happy about? The source of all.
I mean, the reason I'm happy about is, at least these days life is pretty simple, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And life is just pretty simple, you know, and understood the deepness of self-love. So all
Great.
this while I had this feeling, okay, people used to say, self-care, self-love. I have always lived up with the perception that how can somebody love themselves? I mean, for me, the definition of love was that I am a person, I will love you. I am here to love somebody, not to myself. And that person also either loves me or like whosoever. But how can somebody love themselves? I used to question myself always. So if I have to gift myself, was like thinking gifting myself something, was like what. But I used to see people, they used to give themselves new shoes, new dresses.
Mm-hmm.
Not so I would buy certain things or go for a shopping only when there is a certain occasion or there is needed. But out of nothing, I would never gift myself anything. Like there is no such thing. But let's say if I've got a salary in my job, so people like to present themselves, something, gifting themselves. But I would never do that to myself, or I never used to do that. Probably I would buy things for my loved ones around me. That was my kind of a perceptions. And obviously that has led me to terrible situations in my life. And because even the least that I was expecting out of people, I've never got, or that sort of love from the people. And these days I have realized after so many years that actually there is something called self-love.
Mm-hmm.
And when I actually silenced myself from all the crowd in my life, and kind of, looked into me, everything is feeling like, blissful. No expectations. I mean, without expectations, I mean, even if you get to live one day of your life without expecting from anybody, even from your mom and dad as well, I'll tell you, just live a life without expectations for one day. Trust me, the lightness that you would feel here, I have never had felt, in so many years, that these days I'm feeling. Because I'm not expecting anything from anybody. I mean, like, everybody is good, nobody is bad, and let them live the way they live. And yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, I think it's quite great that you have acquired that specific self love, because you have to learn to love yourself first before loving others, because you cannot give what you do not have.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
That's the thing. So these days I mean like I'm very happy. Somebody is coming, I have no problem with them. I am speaking properly. And then when they are going, I don't have any kind of, regret, like sad feeling sad about it and anything. I mean like fine, that's fine. So this is something that these days I'm happy. I have no regret because I'm not expecting anything out of anyone.
Oh yeah, I think you're so inspiring actually, and I would do that too, like living a day without any expectations. Because nowadays I'm not that happy because I'm a student.
What's sad
What does
about
it
being a
mean?
student? I mean, you are not happy for other certain reasons, but you cannot say that you are not happy because you are a student. Come on, student life is a very sweet life. I'll tell you, I miss my student life. I am like, if I get a chance to go back to my student life, I would never come back out of that student life. I mean, I was so happy with nothing to worry about all this life responsibilities and everything. All I had to do, you know what, I have been a kind of a student in my life who did everything apart from study in my life, in my school time. Okay, all my teachers, all my friends, they know me very well. I mean, apart from study, I used to do everything. Any
Mm.
bad thing that happens in the school, or like any kind of, you know certain things happens, I will have my name on it in my school time.
Ooh.
So I was a kind of a person like that. But recently, I have been thinking that I should learn a new language. I should learn certain things like study. So these days, I've got so bored. I was feeling like last day to get myself a tuition, of a regional language that we have. And I know how to speak that language, but I don't know how to read and write, actually. So I've been thinking of
Mm-hmm.
getting myself a tuition just to live that student life. It's been, 8, 9 years now, 7, 8 years now, and just going to the tuitions on that cycle. And I have planned it that I wouldn't go on a bike, I would go on a cycle. Okay, of all those nostalgia. And today I feel like if I get a chance, I would live up the student life. I would never come back out of that life. So yeah, I mean, think of it, what why you are not happy about, but don't say that as a student you are.
No, it's just that I'm like I'm afraid of entering the ocean. I'm afraid of leaving the college life, because being a student, like the my parents or my families are expecting something from me. Like there's a huge expectation,
Hmm.
even though they do not really directly say it.
Hmm.
But I am afraid of like failing as a student,
I'll tell
because
you
that would be,
a
yeah.
small story. So I used to have, I have an so this girl is a senior to me. Okay, and we are like brothers and sisters, like best buddies. Okay, but she's a senior to me in my school time, and we live like nearby. So this girl had a job interview, like, I'm talking about 3 years back. And prior to the next day of the interview, like today, she is like shivering and she is so panicked because of for that job interview. Watching her, I was like absolute sure that the moment she sits in that interview, she would get rejected. So I told her, see, if being afraid and being, feeling that panic, I mean, the outcome, what will be the outcome of you being afraid and panicked? Do you think they will select you if you go all scared up and, feeling panicked? Is there an outcome, better outcome of that? No, definitely no, right? You will get rejected. So, what's the point of you getting afraid and panicked if you know the result itself is going to be negative about it? So, what I told her is that instead of you getting panicked and scared, you just focus that you give your best. I mean, what worst thing can happen in life? For me, I'll tell you, I have started in my life, I have did multiple businesses and I've failed, you know. But till date, I get up with new ideas, I work on it, and till date I am failing itself. But you know what? I have failed so many times in my life, and today I see that as my strength because I have always been a backbencher, as I've mentioned to you. I've never studied. I used to score, not, I mean, my dad used to tell me, can you please score like C or D? Because I used to score E.
Mm.
So my dad never expected me to like score A or B. He used to say, can you just please score C at least so that I go into that school for you getting the report card, and at least I can come up with that satisfaction that at least you scored C. Because I never used to even score C or D. I mean, if there is a paper of like 100 marks, I used to just write 20 marks and leave up the 80 marks of the questions as it is. So I've always failed upon things. And these days, I'm not afraid of failing. I mean, for me, what do I need? If I'm getting three times of meals, three pairs of dresses, and a laptop and an internet and a smartphone, I will make something out of it. So my needs are very much less. Okay. And you're very young, trust me. You've got whole life in front of you. What you will lose it? I mean, what's there to afraid about? I mean, today I'm saying this, you will feel motivated about it. Probably in some other time, like in next 2 3 days, 1 week, you again might feel very scared about it. But I'll tell you, when you will get really successful in some years, you would think someday that all those being afraid and everything was just unnecessary. Because at the end of the day, you will get what life has prepared for you. So don't worry. You just give your best and don't take up
Mhm.
the pressure. You know, these days, what I actually did. I mean, so I did a job for like from the age of 17 till 2024. So in the year 2024, I took a complete break out of my career and I did not do anything for this whole 1 year. Nothing at all. I was living on my parents' expenses. I was not giving them a single, I was not helping them, financially anything. I just questioned myself actually to check who are the people who are standing beside me when I don't have the money in my pocket. And I did made myself go through with this whole year to see who are the actual people in my life who are standing beside me and who are not. And trust me, by the time I'm entering in my 2025, a whole like servicing, or how should I say the exact word, a whole deep cleaning has happened in my life of unnecessary people, unnecessary relationships. And I was just seeing that who are standing by my side. I was like, if tomorrow if I die, who's gonna care? So unnecessary, I'm giving living up with so much of expectations, and expectations leads to pressure. Pressure leads to all this scaredness, and then all these sort of things, and then eventually all these panics and scaredness will hamper your performance. So when I've freed myself with everything, when I started working in 2025 again, I peaked in my performance. You see, because I'm not living up with the pressure. So, anyways, I didn't
Oh,
let you
so
speak.
inspiring. I hope to see you soon again. Nice
Take
to
care.
meet you.
Bye
Good
bye.
night.